Good morning, I think. Is it morning? I think it is. Because second kid and grandbaby are still sleeping. So it's probably still morning. This is... I have so much to say. I have like a big story. I have a big story. My whole life is a big story. It sounds like it's fiction. The whole thing sounds like it's fiction. To my own brain, it feels like it's fiction. Not science fiction, because that would be super cool. That would be one interesting mind mess, right? Yeah, that didn't come out quite coherent. I don't know. I am an overthinker. My one friend laughed at me when I let her see one of the videos that I posted, and that's what I ended it as. And that was like the last time that I put that as my end. I am an overthinker. I wish I wasn't. I know I'm an overfeeler. But it's the thinking part. I could take meds and it makes that stop. Kinda. There's so many things that lead up to this, to where I am now. Born to a single mom. She's very pale complexion. My bio dad, or sperm donor, or whatever you want to call him, is not as pale. In fact, he is also mixed race, Inuit, and something, I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a very, very long time. Since I found out that he married a woman my age, and they have a son that's the same age as my oldest daughter. I got pregnant when I was 15. Anyway, so there's that. But he didn't come into the picture for a very, very long time. I knew about him. Of course, I knew about him. They had to explain why my family, there had to be an excuse why they treated me so badly. So, it was brought up more than once, twice, or 3 dozen times, what my heritage was, which was not white. The brother and sister that I grew up with, I love them so much. They're very blonde, light-eyed, pale skin, freckles, like burn in the sun, pale people. They look like the rest of the family. And until a stranger reached out, not all that long ago in the grand scheme of things, a stranger reached out to me on Facebook and connected me with siblings who look like me. One of them looks so much like me, it's kind of amazing, actually. Melissa. And my sister Lee, she's so jealous. And it's so weird because I've spent my whole life being jealous. I know, a horrible, horrible thing. But I just want it to fit in with my family. The family I knew. It's the washing machine. Sorry. Life still has to happen. Oh, this might have been the wrong tea towel to use. Awesome. Oh well. So, my mom was a single mom, and after she had me, like she has her own story. She has her own backstory that is pretty freaking horrendous, actually. A mom who, when my grandmother found out that my paternal grandfather, maternal, when she found out, my grandmother found out that her husband was cheating on her, she tied him to a bed and beat him and broke his bones with a fish bag. This is a story. This is a family story. This same man used to sit on their front porch and use my mom and her sisters as target practice. Stories that I heard. But there's also the stories of, you know, the weird things that also happened on the same house. Paranormal things. Oh. People seeing flames. Calling the fire department. There's nothing there. The rocking chair on the landing. You could hear people go up and down the stairs. And then you could watch somebody sit in the chair and it would start rocking. So horror stories as well as horror stories. So she has her own backstory. The part of all this is that you have to be able to stop the cycle. She didn't know, maybe. I don't know. I don't talk to her anymore. I confronted her a few years ago and asked why. Why this and why that? Why did you let this happen to me? Why did you let this happen to my sister? Why did you do that to my brother? She sat there with no emotion. None. She just sat there. There was nothing. I can't imagine. I have this guilt that I think about everything that I could go back and change for my children. And if I could, I would. So to see her non-reaction, no. I won't do that anymore to myself. I think I deserve better than to be treated as nothing. Nothing. Just something to be used, to be abused, to be made fun of. That's okay. That's just how we talk about people in our family. It's not, and it never ever should be. Cycles need to be broken. And until somebody, anybody, is willing to stand up and say, hey, that's wrong, That is wrong. You don't do that. So my mom's a single mom. And eventually she had me out of province. And then she brought me back to her mother's home. My grandmother and my great aunt Dorothy, I think. I don't know. I don't remember her. My mother told me that she wasn't allowed to bathe me in the house. That there was a water catchment barrel outside the door. I delivered papers to that door later. But outside that door, there was a water catchment barrel, and that's where she had to bathe me. That's what she told me my whole life. Because I'm brown. Ish. Brownish. I'm not brown enough to be part of a tribe. And I'm certainly not white enough to be part of the tribe I was born into. So I had to be bathed outside in cold water as a baby. They say that if you can say a story without crying, you're healing. I'm healing. And I still cry. How can families do that? I don't understand. I guess I do understand. How can people now, 40 some years later, almost 50 years later, treat people that are different than them, aren't as white as them, as badly as they do? But they do, right? There's so much more to my story. It's not just the bathing outside. Oh. There's a cute little picture of me somewhere wearing these adorable overalls. I think I'm wearing those overalls in many pictures. Oh. It's easy to get distracted. It's easier to let my mind be distracted. That's just the beginning. Some of the beginning. There's more. Of course there's more. There's always more. It's never just one little thing, is it? Not when it comes to something like this. As anybody who's grown up in a horrible house knows, it's never just one thing. I have to go. I can't. I thought I could just sit here and talk, and I can't do it. This is the whole point, is to get this out. But does it matter? It has to matter, right? Does this matter to anybody other than me? It only matters to me now that I'm aging. And I'm sorry. I am so sorry for everything I did wrong. I didn't know
I didn't know, and now I know. I know more. And excuse me, it feels too late. It feels too late. And I don't know how to make anything better anymore. I tried so hard, and every time I would... Anyway, I think that's it for today. I have to go. So, harmony, happiness, and health from my home to yours.